Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for my moment, video 2 of track 2, Roadblocks to Investing in Things That Build My Strength. And I think that starting with roadblocks is a good idea because for me, how things are going to get in the way is probably the most important part of any new thing I'm starting, especially when that thing is about investing in me. Plus, just realistically, that's going to be the first thing that presents itself to us from my perspective, is just what got in the way today of me doing the thing that I was really trying to do. So, yeah, let's just talk about it. We're trying to answer the question, uh, what do I need most right now? And for those of you on track 2, our answer was, I know, but I don't know how to get it, or I feel like I shouldn't want or need it. So something popped into your head when that question came and you're like, this is the thing. This is my thing that I need. And I don't know how I'm going to get that. It feels far away. It feels out of reach. Or as so often comes up for me, I feel really guilty about that. And I don't think I should want that thing. So what do we do here as we're thinking about it? Um, Whenever we have something that we know that we need and we don't know how to get it, or we don't feel like we can or should want it or need it, a really good place to start with is looking at some coping strategies that help put it into our lives. Just practically speaking, something that we can grab for, some tiny little edge of that elusive thing that we can pull towards us. And this is not about everything's just going to be fine if I just eat some more chocolate. Although some days are chocolate days and things are a little bit better when I do. All this is about is finding a place to get started on a much bigger journey, finding a place to have what we need in a lot of different areas by starting with one just tiny little step. And some easy possible roadblocks to encounter are going to be minimizing our needs. Well, it's actually not that important. I think it's self-indulgent. I think it's self-indulgent if I need this thing. Feeling shame for what we want or need, and not knowing how to work around the unchangeable realities. There's nothing I can do to get the stuff that I need. Everything is in the way. And I'm really embarrassed that I need this or I want this. Like it feels selfish. And I don't like that. I don't like having to feel this need. Um, Sometimes I don't know how to make my new coping strategy work with and not against my priorities. So if one of my coping strategies really is, and it totally is, going to Great Harvest and getting cinnamon chip bread on my really hard days, how does that not get in the way of the fact that I want to be able to do a low carb eating approach most of the time? How does that work? And then, just speaking of time, how do I just find the time? Because I have no time. I have no time at all. So let's tackle these. Like, let's just talk about it. Let's start with minimizing or feeling shame for what we want or need. This can be really tough because this can be very ingrained from a super young age in just how we are. It may be because we had a parent or someone important to us who taught us and modeled or minimized our needs. They might have minimized their own needs. There just may not have been any space, and we may have been shamed for feeling like we needed things, or we may have along the way, out of a heart that just wanted to help people, grown to be embarrassed that we needed things too, because other people's needs just seemed so big and so important, and we didn't want to feel selfish or like we were trying to make it all about us. So this is going to feel a little radical for those of us who are in this boat, but just come with me just for a minute here. For a whole day, just jot down every impulse you have to do something or get something for you and what your response was without judgment. And this is not about, seriously, for real, not about judgment. This is just about being curious, like just being curious about what's going on with me. At the end of the day, look at what you could say yes to without the world coming to an end. What was on that list that you would have been like, in retrospect, kind of going, looking at my whole day, the way that went down, what could have been a yes? What could have been a yes? I wouldn't have hurt my life or my safety or anyone else's life or safety, and just was something I could have said yes to. And the next day, say yes to yourself about one thing that you normally would have said no to that doesn't endanger you or anybody else. And just notice what happens when you say yes without judgment. How did it go? How did it go out? How did it go when you said yes to something? And then as you start to notice this, start to notice how it feels. Start to notice if you look forward to a yes. Start to think about a yes you could say for the next day, and increase it every few days until you have a whole day of saying yes to yourself for every impulse that doesn't threaten your life or safety. And notice those outcomes. I had to work up to this over a series of years, and I actually started by doing it on my birthday. On my birthday, I decided I was just going to do the things that I love the most. And so I go get a massage. I go for a long drive. I get chai. I listen to my playlist that I put together over the last year. And I go to Barnes and Noble and get a new journal and kind of journal about the year before, journal about the year to come. And I really make it a day that is just about being with me and having fun doing the things that connect me to me. And it took a long time. I had to start really small. And so it's okay if it's not easy. It's okay if it starts pretty small. And it's okay if you have to pick a special occasion like I did, like my birthday, to start this. But if that's what you need to do, that's fantastic. Maybe you have a birthday coming up. Maybe your birthday coming up is 364 days away because your birthday was yesterday. All of us have a birthday coming up. So if you can't do it for today, if you can't do it for tomorrow, what's something you could say yes to on your birthday or another special day that makes you feel okay about saying yes? Just think about it. Where could you say yes? Where could it be a yes? Sometimes we don't know how to work around the unchanging realities, or we don't know how to make our new coping strategies work with and not against our other priorities. And this can be a big one. Again, I'm from the Midwest. Bread is kind of like in my DNA. I'm totally convinced. Kansas is about the wheat, and I love bread. I just love it so much. And that's always going to be a part of my coping strategies. And I never want to change that. Not ever, not for any reason, not now, not tomorrow, not next week, never. And so I also want to do some low carb stuff because that is what my body likes sometimes. And that's a little at odds, I admit it. My love of wheat and my desire for some low carb, a little at odds, but that's okay. And I don't have to do it the same way every day. And that's been so freeing for me that I can do something that works for me for today, and I can do something that works for me tomorrow. And that's really okay. So what if we found the shallowest entry point possible? Like, for example, again, with my low carb eating plan, what if in this crazy keto world, you go out and you go to different stores and find 3 kinds of keto bread that you wanted to try? Maybe you don't have time to go out to the store. And so you need some ideas of what to order from Amazon. If you need ideas, I have ideas. I have them on subscription. It's not a problem. But what if you just started trying different ones that you liked that you could have? And I found chips and cookies and crackers and bread that I can eat that are low carb and that I actually like genuinely like. Not like if I disassociate from myself, I could probably make myself eat this. No, like things I look forward to in the morning, that kind of thing. And then there are days when I need the real thing, and that's okay too. So determine what your threshold is for when you eat full carb bread and you don't guilt yourself about it. And when it's more in line with what you want, to eat the keto bread. Just have it in your head. Just have it in your head and think about it, even sometimes every day, maybe every hour for sometimes. Is right now a keto bread kind of time, or is it a Great Harvest full carby bread kind of a time? And I think we know. And just start doing it. Ask for smaller bits of a larger whole, such as an hour once a week to work on your computer outside if you're not allowed to work from home. Think about how you would have done things as a teenager. Think about how you could work at getting around, like work within the rules and still get what you want. Tap into that teenage part of you that was like, how could I get this done and still, be doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Think like that. How could you get it done? Whatever it is you need, how could you get it done? Can you do one meeting outside today? Can you say yes to something else that, again, going back to that first one, maybe you wouldn't always? What's a workaround? And if you have trouble and you have a teenager in your life, I bet they'll help you. So try to hook up with a teenager and find out what they would do to get the thing that you want. I bet they have some cool ideas. And that is just the last one that we're going to talk about today. It's just finding the time. And this one, we just have to get a little bit real with ourselves about the consequences of us crashing. So let yourself imagine for just a second what it would cost your workplace, your family, your friends, if you had to check yourself into the hospital, how much time away that would take. That's a big one because I've had that happen. I've had that moment and it cost a lot. It cost me a lot. It cost my family a lot. It was a huge, huge investment. And I will say that getting to the point of crashing is the best investment I ever made. But every day I am aware of where the scars from that crash are. I know what they are. And it costs a lot to get to the point of crashing. And sometimes we need that. But sometimes we can see that up on the horizon and we can decide, I want something different. So consider how likely it is that you can keep going forever without a crash on your current course. Can you keep doing this? Simple, straightforward. What's the answer? Yes or no? Can you keep doing this? With a motivation that comes from realizing that it's kindness to those around you as much as it is to you yourself to meet those needs. How can you look at this differently? What if it really does benefit other people? What if it really is giving to them in order for you to take care of you? What if you're grumpy and snippy in the morning and you didn't have an hour that was like you had an hour without any interruption at the beginning of the day? What if you're not a fantastic boss or coworker when you're tired and you took a 30-minute nap in order to be nicer? What if we let the realities of our needs and our being human sink in and recognize that the people that we love and want to be with more than anything need our wellness? They need our wellness, just like we need our wellness. They need our wellness. So what if I allowed myself to make a tiny, small time commitment for myself to say yes to something I needed over the course of a week consistently and just see what happens? What happens in my relationships? What happens in my productivity? What happens in everything if I let myself do the thing that I know I really need? What's the outcome? Because sometimes when I'm focusing on what I need and the time that it takes, I'm focusing on the cost. I'm not focusing on the benefit. I'm not focusing on what it can do for me, what it can do for the people around me. So just think about it. Just start to think about it just a little tiny bit. Remember, finding our moments is not the end of the story. This is not the whole thing, and it's never intended to be. This is about finding the rescue I need to make to ask for bigger changes, to be able to look at the system and say, this is what I need, and this is what I want to help fix. This is what I want to be different. This is what I have to have different. This is what I need for me. This is about being able to make it to the bigger changes. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing today, I hope that you find your moment and know that it's okay because you're very, very worth it. See you next time.